All right, today on the channel, we're gonna be taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Technodrome Playset. This is the 40th anniversary reissue, exclusive to Amazon as of the making of this video, but as these things go, in about 90 days, it ends up showing up in Target, Walmart, and all the other stores after that exclusivity is over. But this is retail price at $79.99, and this is literally my favorite playset of all time. In fact, that'd be a good time to actually compare it to the original playset. That's right, because I have the original Technodrome as well as the packaging to compare it to the new reissued 40th anniversary. At first glance, you can see they pretty much nailed it as far as recreating the original image. So it is the exact same image from the original package to the new package. Subtle differences after that. So we got different text up here and here. Obviously we got a different little, feature section here. So right down here, it's got their newer reissued figures, all in their little action playset poses. On the original package, you got super bowl cut kid there smiling. He's probably filling out an AARP membership right now. But packaging wise, just at first glance, they killed it as far as recreating the look of the original. As you can tell, there is some sizing differences, and that is going to be a recurring theme here, because essentially what has happened with this Technodrome 40th anniversary reissue is it's basically 90% scaled down box as well as the physical product itself. For multiple reasons, I'm sure people will speculate, but basically I'm sure it comes down to number one, cost, and number two, they didn't want to step on the toes of the original collectors, because if you reissue this and all its accessories and everything, then this no longer is as valuable as it once was. Whereas if you retool it and make it a little smaller and make the accessories smaller, you no longer have to worry about stepping on the toes of the original collectors, and you can still kind of satisfy people looking for that nostalgic itch. Sides, more the same. Like I said, you still got bowl cut kit on the original. You got Sans bowl cut kit over here on the back. Cross sell didn't exist on the new one. Old one, we got a cross sell for, the sewer layer, which is supposedly coming in this reissued 40th anniversary celebration. We also had the Turtle Copter and the Mutant module. No cross sell here whatsoever. It's just the kind of call outs to the action features and playset functionality. They did a really good job of recreating everything. Like I said, it's the same kind of angle and image, same call outs and features, subtle differences here and there. Like the new version doesn't have Bebop sitting in the chair up here, whereas the old version did. One thing to note about this Technodrome, and I've done a kind of a recap of the original itself, it's a lot of the branding and things right here, it's a little bit misleading as far as what you got when you were a kid. So like right here, this was shown on the back of the original Technodrome as being kind of like a chrome finish. That's not what you got. The handcuffs and everything had silver in the middle. You didn't get that, you got solid black. There were stickers that was shown on the back of the box that aren't included whatsoever. So it said Krang up here. Those never came on the original product itself, even though they're pictured. So there's always those kind of subtle, goofy things. And the way they show that, the figures sitting in these, little chairs and everything, you literally have to rip off the bottom legs of the figures to get them to fit in there. As a kid, you didn't realize that until you actually started playing with this and realized you couldn't cram your figure down there. I think Playmates nailed it as far as recreating the look of the original packaging. Like I said, subtle differences throughout and throughout, different text, slightly different tweaks to the pictures, but through and through, it is pretty much the same thing. I do wish we had some points, back in the day. That was always something cool that I love to save. I don't think I ever actually try to cash them in, but overall, as it comes to the packaging, it is a pretty spot-on recreation, albeit scaled down slightly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Technodrome playset itself. And here we have the father and son duo. Basically, we have Technodrome Diet and full flavored Technodrome. The original, like I said, bigger in scale, bigger parts, accessories, everything. Subtle tweaks here and there as far as how they did certain colors, but it looks the part. This is going to be typically a deal breaker for a lot of people that are just going to say, oh, I don't like it, it's tiny. It's not tiny, it's still a large playset in itself, but like I said, it is about 90% the size of the original, so keep that in mind. And nothing across the board is really interchangeable. Things are all slightly smaller, so new Technodrome eyeball, old Technodrome eyeball. You can't crisscross them, you can't swap parts or anything. Everything fits to certain sizes, so I can't take the bigger pieces, put them over here. I can't take the little pieces, put them over here, and that's across the board for pretty much everything. So let me get into platforms and show you. For example, it's close, but again, just just scale down enough. We have other subtle differences like coloring changes. So you can see right here on the front of the Technodrome, we've got gray. There's a reissued version, it's blue through and through. We got bright, kind of almost pinkish here on the front, whereas these are dingy and red, but even when they were brand new, the color's just different. Sticker placement and everything, you do have to apply all the stickers on this new reissue, just like you did in the old one. You will hate it just as much as your parents hated it back then when they were putting these stickers on for you, because there is a ton of them. And as I've mentioned on other reviewed products that I've done for this Playmates kind of reissued line of Turtles, the sticker quality on here is just not good. I mean, aesthetically, it looks fine. It's not a blurry image, but just the actual texture of the sticker, it is a one and done type of thing. If you don't place this correctly the first try and you try to pick it up and peel it up and move it, your sticker's gonna rip, it's gonna tear, you're gonna have a horrible time. So definitely take your sweet time when you're applying these stickers. I suggest using some tweezers to really line these things up, because especially portions right here where it was, you know, had a die cut section down the middle, it is an absolute nightmare to get these things straight. And like I said, you want to get it done right the first time, because the moment you try to peel it, it's going to tear and disintegrate, and then you're going to be cussing. Side by side, like I said, they did a great job. It's just shrunken down. If that bothers you, then obviously this is not for you. But you know, for $80 here versus, you know, hundreds of dollars depending on condition, if you get the package or whatnot, it's a night and day cost difference. But again, the accessories aren't interchangeable. You can't take guns. So if you got an old Technodrome that you're trying to, you know, put together and make it 100% complete, and you were thinking, hey, maybe I can buy this and, you know, use some accessories over here and complete my classic Technodrome, that's not going to be the case. Both roll smoothly. Both have those tank treads on there. Nothing really changing there. Everything operates and, you know, functions exactly as you would expect it to. It's just, again, scaled down, slightly smaller, but everything looks the same. It's just a little bit teeny tinier. Let's go ahead and crack them open and I'll show you some other subtle differences. Original Technodrome over here on my right, the reissued 40th anniversary over here on my left. We have the original 1988 figures sitting there throughout. I just kind of figured I'd show you that for scale purposes. Since this is a smaller playset, the scale figures obviously are going to help demonstrate this the most. Like I said, there are subtle changes. So right here on the Brain Scrambler on the new reissue, we have this nice little purple belt, which is actually an improvement over the original, because the original one didn't come with anything. You would have to get like a rubber band on there and strap them in that way, and never worked. In fact, the rubber band I had installed on here was all brittle and broke apart because it was ancient. But that's how we did it back then in the original. Luckily, we got this nice new little kind of belt strap to keep people in there, which is great. Subtle differences, again, with colorways, things like that. There's like a pink hinge underneath there where it's gray over here, and hinges on the original figure. We got red over here, solid gray over here. Little nuanced details like that just help distinguish the original versus the reissue. But like I said, everything on this reissue is 90% scaled down, so that is also the easiest telltale sign. We do have the same action feature, so we got the trapdoor over here. You got your, you know, your periscope pirate wheel here that we can pull down and fire off the Technodrome eyeball. You got Shredder's command station. You got the little mutagen transformation station there. The jail, the prison cuffs as well. A little platform stand. Sticker wise and placement and everything's identical. You know, it's the exact same images from the original over here to the reissue through and through. Now you'd think, okay, this is 90% scaled down. Obviously things aren't gonna work really. Well, like I said, the Technodrome originally was always kind of misleading in how you had to play with it in general, because on the package, like I said, they showed Bebop just hanging out here, you know, firing the gun, sitting there. But if you look really close on the packaging, it's because they removed his legs. So they sit him in there, and that's how he was on the packaging. And it makes sense. If you try to put him in there with his legs, it's not gonna work. Same kind of thing over here on the reissue. He actually kind of fits pretty nicely. Even though this is a smaller, you know, playset, same original scale figure, you take his legs off and he sits in there pretty much as comfortably as he did in the original. So no real loss as far as I'm concerned on that. Same kind of thing with the you know, a little mutagen station here. It was always super tight, and that stuff was pretty much sitting on top of Donatello on the product glam shots. You can still put the figure in there over here on the reissue, so no big changes there. And similar to the Bebop thing, Shredder, got to rip his legs off. If you want Shredder to sit there in his little command station, take his legs off, sits just fine. Put him over here on the reissue, same kind of thing. Sits just fine in that space, even though it is, you know, a different scale playset. These original figures will work into the playset just fine as long as you take their legs off as designed. Same thing with Krang, and this was kind of a delightful surprise to me. So Krang, put him over here on the original one, sits on this pedestal just fine. And I figured, okay, he's probably not gonna fit over here, but nope, they actually did have the foresight and they made the hole big enough. Even though the playset is smaller, it still fits an original Krang head on there. So if you have an original, or if you got any one of their recent reissues of Krang, you can throw them on there, piece of cake. This thing right here, the Escape Disc, this, if you go on eBay, is like $60 for an original, because it's one of those pieces that people always lost. If you're hoping to buy this and put it over here on your original, it's not gonna work. Just like everything else, it is smaller, so keep that in mind. Like I said, you're not gonna be able to finish a incomplete original Technodrome with these new accessories, just because everything's smaller. Like I said, you can see the little feet here. They're identical, but just slightly different in size. But overall, I think they nailed the aesthetic. Like I said, diehards out there are probably gonna say, hey, it's not 100% authentic and, you know, a recreation of the original. It's shrunken down, not for me. Well, you be the judge. You wanna pay $80 and have something that's 90% close aesthetically, have brand new, bright, shiny box art that's not smashed, or do you wanna pay the premium and have the real deal Holyfield? You be the judge. Hope this information was helpful. Guys, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like button. Share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. It really means a lot.